Hey guys, it's Drina G here, and welcome back to Escape with Drina. On this episode of Rising Hill, we're going to talk about how important solitude is. Now, when I say solitude, I genuinely mean loving your alone. When you love your alone, you embrace the power and the strength that your mind is able to communicate with you, with your heart balancing all at one. So you're able to think clearly and make clear decisions. These past couple months, excuse me, these past couple months, I've been a little bit MIA because I was trying to understand my path, the path that I was taking. If Escape with Drina was mainly for me, if I liked what I was doing, if it spoke into me. Also, I was hitting like anybody. Just because I may be a healing coach does not mean I don't go through real life situations. Whatever you believe in, I definitely feel like at the time the universe was not aligning with me or my decisions or my path. And regardless of what I know I deserve deep down inside, I was fighting against the odds completely. And it was hard. It was genuinely hard because I wanted so much for myself and I could see so much for myself, but I was hitting so much obstacles that made it so hard for me to believe in self. Now, with that being said, I want y'all to understand when it comes to being alone, your strength shows more because you're able to hear your inner voice. At the time that I was MIA from Escape with Drina, the page, I had so many external influences that were in my head that feels so clouded. It's like walking into a club with a lot of music on, but your heart is playing its own sound, the same tune that you know very well over and over. You're trying to escape that tune, but it's like so much noise, so much noise, so much noise. And no matter what, no matter if the DJ changes the song, your your heart is still communicating with that song. So my heart knew what I wanted, but I was constantly facing a lot of challenges and obstacles to shake me from standing strong on my beliefs and strong on what I genuinely wanted for myself. During these periods, which I could get into more depth in other videos of what I genuinely went through these deep dark times before my birthday, from the times that I was MIA for Escape Adrena. During these periods, I was facing many obstacles that I had to literally place myself in a position after hearing so much, once again, external influences. If you guys don't know, I was working in a club. With that being said, I'm not a perfect person. I was working in a club and still was doing Escape with Drina. Boy, when I say those things catch up with you, it does. Because it's like when you're trying to turn your cheek the other way, the opposite, the odds are trying to turn you towards what you left behind. And in the moment of those months, and I'm trying to change myself, it was harder and harder to stay closer to what I believed and what I felt like my purpose was, which is helping you, which is helping everyone that gravitate towards me properly. It was hard to focus on that, including helping myself. It was hard to focus on that because the odds was turning me, turning my focus every time. And it didn't make it no better that the one odd that I hated the most, the one odd that made me so uncomfortable, had me in tears every day, had me completely lethargic, had it hard for me to wake up, to want to fight. These odds were so strong, and boy, I tell you, it was even hard for me to ice skate. And those who know me, I don't play about ice skating. I would have $100 in my bank account and I would make sure that I skate. When you are in solitude, you can think straight. And when I sat there one day, I got fired from one of the clubs that I liked. I got fired. I didn't do anything wrong, but I made a post and I told because I got into a miscommunication. I don't even want to say argument because I didn't I didn't give that energy back. I try to refrain from giving that energy back, even though, like any human being, Anger can get beside us and we can gravitate towards that, which is a topic we're going to talk about. I don't want you guys to ever think that you have to be completely perfect all the time just because you're in your healing stage. There are ways to avoid it, but sometimes people will bite till you nip them back on the butt. And sometimes it does become hard to stay stern on the ground to say, I'm not going to give them that misery. At this point, that company needed so much misery, and because I wasn't giving it to them, it agitated them. They fired me. I wasn't arguing back, so I made a post and I just said, the clubs are very dark. I thank God that I don't have to align myself with misery to feel company, because if I did, obviously I would be in a darker place. This was a post for me. The club took huge offense to it and banned me from the club. Moving forward, I still could not fixate to tell you guys why I got fired from the club. But one thing I did know, at the moment when I started changing my life and things started aligning properly, I missed the signs that the universe wanted to give me. It was time for me to do a new way of thinking. It was time for me to make sacrifices, even if that means sacrificing my main source of income because I'm super uncomfortable. I took a huge leap of faith, and without no sight, I literally said, I'm getting rid of the club. Because one thing about it, when the universe or whatever you believe in, God, wants you to find a better path for yourself, they will place so much obstacles. Obstacles will be in, like literally complacent into your life to the point you will not understand, why am I so uncomfortable? That goes for relationships, whether friendships, partnerships, that goes for family, any situation, even business, where you will feel like, I keep hitting these obstacles, these challenges with this specific thing, and I don't understand what the problem is. The problem is, this is no longer conducive for you. And at that time, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe that the only thing that make me income, I have to get rid of. I'm a school full time. I have properties. I do all this myself, not a man, not, you know, a friend, not parents to help me. It's me. It's me. And I was genuinely confused. And whether you believe in what you believe in, at that time, I decided to, in this time of the briefing when I took time for myself, I decided to actually open into some new knowledge. See, in the healing portion of my journey, I actually embarked into opening up my chakra, into actually being open minded about thinking about spiritualness and actually thinking about God. And I'm not going to sit here and try to convince people to be religious or anything. This is not a cult. This is not any of those things. But one thing I could say is, in the moment when you are feeling so uncomfortable that you have no answers, I recommend definitely directing yourself to the Bible. Even if you don't know the Bible at all, there are so much answers, from jobs to Gideon to everything, where you can actually read about sacrifices and how certain people who even had little to no faith, from greatness, abundance of faith of God and God, had to literally sacrifice almost everything they had in order to follow a path that God wanted for them. And I say that to say, in that journey that I took these months away from Escape with Drina, I embarked in that journey. Not only I was already putting more knowledge into my mind about healing, because I never stopped, but I was also learning about sacrifice and making the necessary sacrifices, from being uncomfortable to maybe complete faith in God where it still feels uncomfortable, but I have faith in the universe or God or whatever you believe in. I have faith that as long as I keep a pure heart and I keep working on myself, God will make things happen. Now, I quit that job since July. I quit the whole idea of even working in the club. And from there, even I could tell you right now, Lord, I have more bills than I have in my bank account. I have a lot going on. I have no honesty to tell you how am I going to make it? I don't know. But one thing is, the day I released the club, I actually made a video if you guys wanted to see. It's also on my I Am Drina page. I released the club and I let it be known that the pain, the discomfort is no longer here. I released the club, and when I say tears fell from my eyes, as if I just lifted the heaviest burden, as if I was carrying hundreds of dead energies, dead souls, dead everything. I just lifted it off my shoulder and my back. You know, that pain, that tension. One thing about it, once you heal, once you start the healing, embark in that journey, the tension that you feel, the pain, the headaches, the neck that was hurting, touch those areas, they release. Because now you're embarking in a journey that is that is given to you, that is in your path. So in this moment of actually getting to know my true self, and I took a break because I'm like, I have to post, I have to go to school, I have to this. I also have to make sure I go to work, I have to this, I have to that, bills gotta get paid. I said, slow down, Drina. I had to turn off the influence. And I know you guys are like, wait, Drina, but how is your escape with Drina? Social media is huge. Whether or not if your page is completely conducive or not, or beneficial in any type of way, whether it's an investing page or not, you will still see something in your algorithm that can make you, if I'm an investor and I see another investor who has $1 million home, it will make me probably feel like I'm not doing much enough for myself. Social media would have you competing. And that's what it was. I used to see other coaches and everybody seemed like they were living their life so perfect. All down my algorithm. It doesn't matter if I follow the best people, the ice skaters, the everything. I seen everyone living life so perfect to the point when it was time for me to understand my life, I was confused why I didn't look like them. So when I took a break and I released the club, I swear money flowed crazy. Now, I'm not saying there's a whole new month of September. I can't tell you that money is great for me right now. But I was able to pay my bills from July to August. I'm not behind. I I don't know where the money came from. I'm actually very grateful. Um, of course, there is some other money from other underlying issues, like situations that I was in that I've gotten paid from, but that still wouldn't be enough for me. I was able to make other money, other income was flowing in, whether it was people who were saying they could loan me money or people who were saying they, here's some money because like I believe in you. It was more I believe in you than I ever heard. People were shocked that I was burning my equipment, my stuff that I had from the club. They could not believe it. Isolophilia is the topic today. I want you to know isolophilia is to find strength in your aloneness. And this moment of being alone, something sparked for me that may take time for everyone else. But it sparked for me to let you guys know today that it may be an upside down journey. It may not have a straight line, but I promise you, in this healing journey, you will find your purpose. You will be happy. It's not going to be a quick process, and I promise you, you're going to be sad probably tomorrow after watching this video. It's life. We go through things. But with all the knowledge that you embark in, whether it's me telling you how to deal with positive, when it comes to positive reframing when something bad happens, or any of the sorts, you will find a way because the universe and whatever you believe in will make sure that it happens, especially if your soul is pure. Who you are on the inside is what's important. Every mistake that you make, don't allow it to dictate your future or your present. That is behind you. Who you are moving forward is 100% you. So when you're alone, the the solitary is a huge component of life because it allows you to remind yourself how far you came, how much you need to be grateful for your success, whether from small to big. You will find ways to not be complacent or lethargic anymore. You will find ways to seek happiness, and you will find ways to hear what's truly important: yourself, your heart. Of course, sometimes when you're alone, you hear the noise still. And those who know, they know. As spiritual people, you can hear the noise, whether it's a grievance where you can hear mourns, or you can hear people that passed, that you could still see them, or even more, where you go to sleep and you still think about a past breakup and how they did you. Those things will happen. But you have to find ways to turn it off, and you have to be the stronger voice. In your alone time, in your solitude, it's time for you to speak. This video is to make sure that you strengthen your voice. I want to hear your bass, and I want to make sure you hear it too. If you're unable to hear yourself when you have to put your foot down for things that make you feel uncomfortable, if you can't hear yourself, you will always see yourself uncomfortable. You have to break the pattern, you have to break the chain, and you have to find comfortability in yourself. Do you understand the greatness of your voice? Do you understand the greatness of your mind? Look how far you came as a person. And even me, I dwell sometimes. But I promise you, you've came further than a lot of people. And even in no comparison. I say this to say, not for comparison. I say it to say because everyone has their journey. And I promise you, you damn sure rocked your own journey. You rocked your world. You went the path that was given to you. Nothing was a mistake. Someone can't put your shoes on and you can't put their shoes on and say that I can do better or I would live better or anything like that. Everyone has their journey for a reason, so they can end up to the outcome that is given for them, that purpose that they need, and that purpose that is accepted from whatever you believe in, whether it's higher being or the universe. Now, I know a lot of people probably saying, like, how can I be okay with being alone? Because it's hard. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys or try to give you. I took breaks from things that mattered the most to me because of how much I wanted to focus on my voice. But there are several ways, and before I run into it, I want to tell you the strength of you being alone that you gain creates a better future for you. It helps you put up stronger boundaries. It helps you when it comes to communicating. You know how to articulate exactly what you want, how you want it. And if someone doesn't give you that, then the boundaries come up. It helps you see positive reframes. When things are not going well, you find an affirmation. You find a different way to look at things. It helps you take care of yourself, your health. Are you eating right? Are there proper oils, amino acids? What is giving yourself energy? How you eat, the way you organize your schedule, putting too much on your plate, all of that goes out the window. Right now, you're alone and you take on what you can take on for you first, and then you can help others. Because I always tell people, if I don't have any apples, how can I give you one? I can't, right? If I don't love myself, how can I love you? I can't, right? Now, if I can't help myself, how can I help you? People will overwhelm themselves by trying to be the hero of the day and then dig themselves deeper and deeper and deeper into uncomfortability and being unsettled and unhappy and devoted and feeling like they're lethargic and feeling like they're complacent and feeling like nothing has ever happened and feeling like they have no accomplishments. Because you dig yourself and you buried yourself with everyone's problems. And you didn't place yourself first. Being alone will make sure that you hear your voice and you hear your heart cry out to you so it clicks in with the mind and everything starts structuring properly so you're able to listen. I finally could hear what's the problem. I finally realized, like, yeah, he cheated on me, but it hurts and I'm gonna cry. I kept trying to play myself to say that I'm not gonna cry. It's nothing wrong. I'm gonna cry, and even though I'm alone by myself, I'm gonna cry. And I'm gonna tell myself how I feel, and I'm gonna write it down. When you're alone, you're able to acknowledge your emotions properly, and not only that, you're able to give it out properly. If you're not properly in balance with your emotions, you are only going to project how you feel. Do you understand? Being alone allows you to structure yourself properly. And a lot of people fear isolophilia because the idea of being alone, no one sees the strength in it. What they see is the negatives because that's what the odds wants you to see, that it is negative. Why would I go out to dinner by myself? Ew. I need my friends. I have to. Like I'm nervous. Like, what do I need someone to talk to. I'm just gonna be on my phone the whole time. Why would I do this? Why would I do that? It doesn't make sense. Maybe if I had a friend there, you need yourself. You need to put faith into yourself and give yourself grace for how far you are coming as a person. No one's story or journey is easy. And I'm not here to let you know once again it is going to be easy or it's going to be hard. I'm here to let you know that healing starts with solitude. Solitary is a huge component in self-evolution. Remember, whether you're evolving, whether you want to or not, the universe will make sure that you're so uncomfortable with certain things, certain situations, certain circumstances, certain unfortunate events happening, series, where it aligns you to see that it's time to give yourself more of you. The same that you're putting out there, it's time to retract them. Almost like what's the animal that actually, maybe an octopus? It's time to get back your arms that you had everywhere else. Your kids, your school, your work, your business, your friends, your everything. You're going to retract them and you're going to focus on the mind and the heart and you're going to align them. And in order to do that, is to start thinking for self. And some may call it selfish when you put your phone on D&D or you tell your friends that you're not going out tonight because today is time for you and you enjoyed your alone time. But sweetheart, it's not for them to like or love. And this goes for men as well. Remember that when I make videos, it is for all genders. It is for every single person. I want you guys to understand that mental health and solitary is huge components of life. And I feel like we were all, in my opinion, we are placed on this earth to find a purpose worth living for. And I think the true purpose of solitary is self evolution and self love. So for us to find our purpose is definitely to start with self. That's why it's your purpose. It's nobody else. Nobody could tell you how to live your life, whether traditions or religions or anything. Only you can. So when you think about being alone, I want you to think about all these things. Remember, the story that was written for you is no longer your story. You narrate your story, you write it yourself. So any story that happened in your past is not you and it doesn't make or break you. In other words, if you want to say it made you, you could say it made you who you are to not regret, but it is not who you are. Who you are is the story you created for yourself. Now, moving forward, ways to actually embark in being alone and be comfortable with my aloneness. Remember the word isolophilia. Isolophilia is strength in being alone. I don't like to say the word alone because when people hear the word, they think negatively because when it's never nothing positive when you hear the word alone. It's the word lone is in the word where of course lone comes from a word where it feels like loneliness, all the negative connotations that attach itself to it. Alone is actually more, it's your space. Alone is something that you can give yourself, that space, that peace that no one else can give you. So that's why I use the word isolophilia, because it allows you to remember how important aloneness is and how much strength you can actually gain from being alone. If you need tips on being alone, let me know. Definitely comment it down below, but I will give you some now. Number one, definitely embark in finding something that speaks to you. It can be anything that gives you a talent or a hobby or anything that makes you feel like this speaks to me. And one thing about it, a lot of people may sit down and say, I tried everything and nothing sticks to me. Consistency is key. Anything that speaks to you, and it may take time because I was a gymnast, I was a dancer, I was a hip hop dancer, a jazz dancer, and a majorette. And not only that, I also did ballet and I did contemporary dance. I did a lot. And ice skating was one thing that stood out to me. And I'm actually going to go back to contemporary dance because I realized in my aloneness, I realized that consistency takes you a long way. What you put your time and effort into actually is what makes your aloneness better. It's not about what doesn't stick to you, but it's about the work you want to put into it that makes it yours. Do you understand? So if you say you want to paint and you start painting and your paint is, what people say trash or you don't like how it's looking, don't stop there. Put the work in. Make sure that you make an actual goal that by the end of the year, I want to be able to paint a 3D figure, or I want to be able to marble paint, or I want to be able to, whatever it is, set a goal for it. Not only you have to find a hobby or slash talent and set a goal for these things. That's where you make that aloneness yours. Because once you do that, you align the heart and the mind to where the mind has to focus and the heart is appealing to you and what you want. The heart tells the mind she wants to be alone. She wants to enjoy her peace, her solitude, her solitary components. And we are here to help. And it aligns. And the universe has no choice but to embrace you. Number two, try going out by yourself. Yes, you could still speak to people when you're out. Some people think that when you go to these places, that if someone speaks to you because you're alone, you just ignore them. No, no. But if there's any place that you wanted to go and you probably feared it because of being solo, if it's somewhere that you know that can be protected in any type of way, whether it's a tourist attraction, anything that you knew you wanted to go, let's think deep. Like, think about something you told your friends you wanted to do, and they said no, like, that's boring. Go alone. Actually, find an attraction towards whatever you're going to and embrace that aloneness. Number three, organize yourself. Organize yourself, clear the clutter. Now, when you hear clear the clutter, your room could be crispy clean. It can literally have nothing but a spot, but there's clutter somewhere, you know? Clearing the clutter can start from emails to the closet, from baby clothes to to your own clothes. It could even go from your desk. Clearing the clutter means everything from your fridge to a mini fridge to your car. Clearing the clutter does a lot. It actually allows you to see clearly, no matter how small or big the space is. That is a way to align yourself with aloneness and actually remind yourself how important it is to put yourself first. Number three, putting yourself first, even though I said it, that how it's really important, putting yourself first goes a long line with organization because when you put yourself first, that also reminds yourself how important boundaries really is. Boundaries is a huge component in self evolution. While you are evolving and you are trying to evolve, like I said, whether you want to or not, boundaries will be in place and things will make you uncomfortable to the point that wall is up. Even if you want to or not, it would almost be like a firewall. Remember the firewall? And back in the day, with the computers and the protection, it will almost be like a firewall because your heart is protecting you. And sometimes it may feel like self sabotage, but it's not. It's actually preservation. Now, when you're doing these boundaries that are conducive, and I'm talking about the ones that are beneficial, not the ones where you're throwing your risk out the window because you're too scared. I'm talking about the ones that are actually conducive towards you. Those specific preservations, those boundaries that you put up, help you grow and glow. Number four, remind yourself positively how far you came, how beautiful or handsome you are, and how great you will become if you're not already greater than what I already see you as. How great you will become. You're on the path to greatness, and greatness doesn't stop anywhere. You are forever great. And even though you may not see it now, your heart does. And your heart always seen it since the moment you came out the womb. Acknowledge yourself. Acknowledgement is a huge component. And number four, when it comes to giving yourself grace, positive affirmations, all these things, positive reframes, where you actually are able to acknowledge yourself. A lot of people walk out the house, commute, commute errands, and do certain things that have nothing to do with themselves, and then turn around and feel heavy and feel like I'm uncomfortable with life. I'm unhappy. Well, that's because you didn't acknowledge yourself. It's very important throughout the day to take pauses, to recuperate, and make sure that whatever you're doing throughout the day, if it's possible, to make sure that it is a priority for you. If it's not a priority for you whatsoever, and it could be placed at the end of your list, stop what you're doing, recuperate, I mean, reevaluate your situation and find a way to put you at the top of the list. So at the end of the day, you allow people to know when I am done with what I'm doing, I will take care of you. Because now you're acknowledging yourself and it will make you feel better. You will have a little bit of guilt because people, especially codependent people, they don't want to let people down. It's something you dealt with as a kid. So that inner child is going to feel a little bit of guilt. Like, I'm sorry, but no need for apologies. A true friend, a true partner, and a true family member would understand how important it is to make sure that you are first in your life. It's incredibly important. And sometimes people, they literally pat me on the back as if like they're proud of me because of how much I truly make sure I come first in my life. It's important. Now, right now, I could keep going, of course, but comment. I would like for you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. I do want to thank you so much for watching Escape with Drina. And thank you so much for the patience and the fact that people are still following me, still giving the page as much credibility as you guys can, and actually still sharing my content. You guys help me a lot. And the more that you continue, it helps me help you. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you want more tips on being alone. I am here to help you. I have multiple videos. I can help you in all type of ways. One more quick thing before we go. Number one thing, even though it's probably at the bottom of the list, but let's place this at the top. The only way for you to properly be alone is to turn off the external influence. Always remember that. If everything is loud, just like a feedback, like a negative feedback when microphones are placed together, if all those things are loud, you won't be able to hear you. Imagine a room full of microphones and you're one of them. Are you going to be heard? Thank you so much, guys. Please continue to watch Escape with Drina and Rise and Heal, guys. Bye.